Hey there, you're looking at Sidestepping the Power Struggle. If you are able to take this course live when I teach it, which only happens a couple of times a year, that's awesome. You can do it on Zoom. Or if you live in my hometown of Victoria, BC, you can take it with me in person as well. If you are missing those dates, please consider taking the online course. It's me presenting, it's filmed professionally. It includes audio handouts, PDF chapters from the book. So it's very satisfying and you can do it at your own pace. So either one is great. Again, if you can take it with me while I'm teaching, that's wonderful. And I'm just going to give you a brief outline of sidestepping. So the first thing to note is it applies to kids of all ages, which may seem kind of confusing. Like, how can it apply to a 2 or a 3-year-old and a 15 or a 16-year-old? I can see some of you smiling, saying, well, because sometimes there doesn't seem to be that much difference between the ages. But the truth is that developmentally, all children go through the struggle for independence where they need more autonomy and they become prickly and don't listen and defiant. And your teenager can't stand the sound of your voice and your preschooler is calling you a butthead. I mean, but it's trying to figure out, okay, why is this behavior here? What does this child need? And how do I respond to this, whatever it is that's going on. So we look at that. We look at the fact that children all misuse time. We talk about how kids learn. And if you think about it, I don't know too many families that don't struggle to get out of the house in the morning, that don't struggle with transition times like mealtime and bedtime. It's just right across the board. Partly because kids don't understand time. They're in the moment. And all kinds of stuff comes up during transition. Remember, I'm talking about teens too. So the first 3 weeks, we're looking at this stuff. We're looking at temperament, where actually taking temperament blew me out of the water, and that was a long time ago. But realizing that both of my kids were very different, and one was very much like me, and the one that was very much like me actually triggered me a little bit more than the other one, but the other one was baffling. And so it's really enlightening to be able to look at your child's temperament. It gets rid of the negative labels, the judgment, and you learn about yourself. And you realize there's no cookie cutter method to parenting because each one of your children are very different. And then, if you've got a partner, bring all that into the mix. So how do we trigger each other in a family and what goes on with our individual temperaments? As we turn a corner, we start looking at antecedents. And antecedents is simply a word that describes triggers, whether it's hunger, fatigue, events that come up in our life, like a new baby, starting a new school, things that are happening at school, a misfit with a teacher, etc. But it also talks about the antecedent being the way we're parenting our kids. Ta-da! Welcome to a parenting course. But really, this is where we start to turn the corner and look at the research on different parenting styles, from authoritarian parenting, authoritative parenting. Yes, there is a big difference. Submissive, permissive parenting. And we really lift up the lid on all of those hidden patterns to help you see how you might inadvertently be interfering with your child stepping up to the plate, or interfering with your child's ability to kind of roll with life, therefore creating more anxiety in kids, because maybe you're just really trying to support them. Maybe you've got your own anxiety that's spewing over to your child. This is what we take a look at. It's how do you stay regulated if you have a firecracker who has meltdowns that last for 30 minutes and there's nothing you can do? I mean, this is all a normal part of parenting. We look at discipline. What does it mean to disciple, really? How do we communicate boundaries and values and limits? And we know that limits are protective. So we're really challenging you to look at your own over control, if it's there, or to look at the fact that you drop your boundaries when you need to have boundaries. This is not behavior modification. This is not a bunch of tricks to get your kids to do that thing that you want them to do. That's harmful. So that's why so many other psychologists, counselors, teachers take our course and come to see me in private practice, because it's really hard to see this stuff playing out in our own families. It takes a course or seeing a professional to go, oh, wait a minute, I'm falling into the pattern of giving negative attention by correcting too much behavior of my child and getting into a dance in the heat of the moment, instead of kind of sitting back and dealing with it more effectively. Or I'm getting into power struggles with my child and I'm teaching my very persistent child to be a great debater. So by the time they're teenagers, you may feel like you've got no power at all. But what you need to know is you do have power, and it's personal power, it's power over yourself, it's your awareness, it's your reactions. You can change the dance pattern. So I hope to see you in Sidestepping. Thanks for checking this out.